When you come across a new word that you haven't heard before, one of your first thoughts is to look it up and see what it means. Nibiru is no exception. We've researched some of what it means according to believers in the form of a doomsday event, but what does it mean in its original context? For that, we'll take a look into the Chicago Assyrian Dictionary. For those that aren't too familiar with languages that were around thousands of years ago, Sumerian and Akkadian languages borrowed from each other, to the point where many of the people were bilingual. Soon, however, it was Akkadian that spread out as the spoken language, with Sumerian being used as a sacred ceremonial language of sorts. Much of what we know about the many Sumerian tablets is largely through translating the Sumerian cuneiform into Akkadian. Handily, there are even lists of words and their meanings that have been found on tablets, an ancient dictionary, if you will, that aids us in working out what is being said. If, however, you want a second opinion, the standard dictionary definition complete with thorough lists of examples in context not being good enough for you, you can look through the Pennsylvania Sumerian Dictionary too. Now that we know of two dictionaries concerning the language where Nibiru originated, let's have a look and see what it actually means. You'll find Nibiru under the heading Nibiru, where it has one of three meanings, the most immediate of interest to us being one of the names of the planet Jupiter. What's important to remember is that not once on any record we have of the time is there a reference to Nibiru being a separate planet in a strange orbit. This is the mul.apin, a complete text regarding the night sky, and in it there is a passage. When the stars of Enlil have been finished, one big star, although its light is dim, divides the sky in half and stands there. That is the star of Marduk, Nibiru, Jupiter. It keeps changing its position and crosses the sky. What it is saying is that they are one and the same. Jupiter is Marduk, Nibiru is Jupiter. They all refer to one point in the sky. Nibiru was even used to describe Mercury in some places, so we know that it isn't a separate object. We have written records that say that this point of light is visible every year to the naked eye. We have no written records that say it has anything to do with aliens, planetary collisions, elliptical 3,600-year orbits, nothing. The only way you could possibly arrive at that view after looking at the evidence is to disregard the evidence and make it up however you see fit. But don't just take my word for it. There are many who do the research for you and do it in a way you'll understand. Once again, my starting point was Mike Heiser at Sitchin is Wrong, a man who is capable of translating roughly a dozen ancient languages. I don't know about you, but asking someone who actually knows about ancient languages is generally a good starting point when looking up the definition of Nibiru. Alternatively, you could even start at Wikipedia. At least you're doing some sort of research there, even if it's the bare minimum. The point is, you're not going to learn much if you only follow one side of the story. In the case of the Chicago Assyrian Dictionary, there are 90 years of translations that do not support your claims of Nibiru.
And the idea at that time was to create a kind of encyclopedic dictionary of the Assyrian and Babylonian languages, which we now call Akkadian, as deciphered from the millions of cuneiform tablets that have survived and have come to light through excavations, mostly in the last century and a half, 2 centuries. So the idea then in 1921 was to begin to decipher, make translations of all of these great records, and to assemble a dictionary that would cover 2,000 plus years of the language.
All of this evidence used together shows how this image is not what it has been claimed to be. And that isn't just someone saying, no, of course it isn't the solar system. It's someone saying why it isn't. Someone who uses all the evidence they have to come to a solid conclusion. Not someone who says, that looks like our solar system, sort of, therefore it is our solar system. Are we still meant to believe what is being said about this image? Is this still a map of the solar system?